I'm Kim and I have been on home parental nutrition for nearly 9 years now.
And my name's Peter and I'm Kim's partner.
So when we go on holiday, we have a list, and it really is just a list of everything that we need to take just everything down to ancillaries, all the way down to kind of the blue clamps for your line. So we literally do sit down together, work out how many nights we're away, how many spares we need to take, and then we just pack a bag. It's no different than you would with your clothes, really. When I was discharged and you were given a little bit of information about how things would work when you're at home, I'm sure it was something like 6 months. And I remember, because I remember sitting in hospital thinking, wow, we don't plan that far ahead. Or what if you want kind of a late minute deal? So no, am I allowed to say that it's not necessary? You need to give them notice, because they've got to be able to deliver your TPN. So we give them a good month or so. But if the holiday falls in the time where I have PN anyway in the fridge, there is no reason for them to need to know. But they do provide you with a letter for the airport and for the airline to say what your additional luggage is, because they can provide that for free if you've got the medical kind of letters with you.
You do need to pre-arrange it with any airlines. If you're flying abroad, you need to let the airline know that you are bringing some medical equipment with you. We have a letter detailing exactly what we're bringing, so we tell them the weights and the sizes of the boxes we're taking, so when we arrive they're expecting it and they've got the letter that they just see. If you've pre-arranged it, it's very straightforward, but if you did just turn up with it, I could imagine that would cause some problems.
So there is an airline that didn't want to give it to us for free, and it was more expensive to take my TPN on the plane than it was to take a friend on the plane with us. So we even argued the point that we could take a friend with us and just use her luggage allowance for my TPN.
And it would have been half the price.
It would have been cheaper than just to pay for my medical luggage.
I think that's the only time we've had a problem. Every other airline that we've used have been really helpful, like really helpful. And everything's been ready when we get there. It's all noted on there and check-in. And even to some points, because they know this addition that we're taking is medical, we've had people, the chief steward, come up to us on the plane and say, understand there's you've bought some medical equipment, is there any more we can do for you?
So if it's within the UK or Europe and we're driving, the TPN tends to go in a fridge, and it's just a temperature controlled fridge, and it literally runs off the 12-volt battery. And then when we get to our villa or wherever we're staying, we can plug it into the plug as normal. And that has a little temperature gauge on the front, but also our Homecare company provided us with kind of an external thermometer, and a little wire goes inside. So we've got 2 temperatures running. And then when we're flying, the Homecare company provides us with big polystyrene boxes, so I can get 3 or 4 at a squeeze, 3 or 4 into one box. So sometimes we have to take 2 or 3 boxes with us. But there has been occasions, because we go on holiday a lot, where we get to the hotel or the villa and the fridge isn't clean, or you put the thermometer in there and it is warm even though it's on the lowest, so you can't put your TPN in it. So we found different ways. We have managed 2-week holidays where we use the polystyrene boxes as the fridge. I think we travel a lot. I think sometimes we look at where we're traveling. So we're lucky to have done places like Costa Rica and Kenya before I had my line. They're not necessarily places that we would go to now, but we do America a lot. We've done Dubai. I think we just look at the healthcare system.
Yeah, we'd have to look at it on the worst case scenario, that if Kim were to come down with an infection, would we feel comfortable with healthcare in that country? So you just do a bit of research, and if you're comfortable, then you can travel there. So there are places that we might not choose to go again if we'd been somewhere prior to this happening, but there are so many places that you can go that have good healthcare that you would feel comfortable. The travel insurance is vital. It is more difficult, but and it can be more expensive, but that's to be expected. But there are companies that will do it, and we found one that was pretty good. And even when there's been changes in your health, we phoned them and told them, and there's been no change. So there are companies out there.
They don't do your insurance on what medical devices you have inserted in your body. So it's down to your diagnosis. So it doesn't matter that I've got a Hickman line, and it doesn't matter that I've got a gastric pacemaker. That didn't change the price of it, but it's the diagnosis that they're interested in.
It depends. I mean, it depends how Kim's feeling on a particular day. Sometimes we'll go out and sit in a restaurant. I can eat, and there are occasions when a well-meaning waiter has brought extra food over for Kim, and I end up eating twice as much. So, but it's an onlooker might find it a bit weird that I'm eating and Kim isn't. So you might get a few raised eyebrows. But if Kim's have a mindset she's happy to sit in the restaurant, then we go out and have a lovely evening in a restaurant together. We found cruises are quite useful, because if you've ever been on a cruise, you know there's always food available. We're not the type of people to sit by the pool all day. So if we're on a cruise and we would be landing in a particular port, we will generally have something planned to do. So I'll get up early, and while Kim's disconnecting her nutrition, which has happened overnight, I go up to the buffet, fuel up for the day, and then we go out and have a great day out. And then when we come back again, we can either go out for a meal on the boat, or I can go up and just have the buffet. It's something that you learn to adapt. You change the way that you do this. Again, it's something you do slightly differently, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it, if that makes sense.
From kind of February, March time, the Easter adverts start, and it's not just chocolate, is it? It's all about the big roast dinner, and then October, November time is the adverts for dinners and Christmas dinners and what restaurants are bringing out what. And I think MasterChef as well and things like that is always food. So there's always food on the TV all year round. But yeah, no, Easter and Christmas are the big ones. But we've just learnt to do different things. Sometimes we do go around the family for Christmas dinner. Other times we're on holiday. I think it doesn't bother me anymore as much as it used to, but then I'm 8-9 years on. When I was new to it, I didn't want to be around food, so we would escape. But now I'm more relaxed around it.
But it's finding ways to cope. So there's been times where we've had a wonderful family Christmas around relatives' house, and we do all the things, the build up, the presents, the gift, the film in the afternoon or whatever. But over lunch, we might go for a dog walk, and then when we come back, I'll go and have my dinner. You know, it's no problem. It's adapting to what suits you. There's no one panacea. There's not one fix all for everybody. It's being honest with yourselves as well. How's it going to work for us? And also involving your family in that decision.
Your first holiday, I've always said cruising is the best one to do. If you want to go abroad, I think it's just the best holiday because you have a mini hospital down below anyway. So you've got your hospital room. They've got everything set up, even down to the drip stand and alcohol gel. But they'll store your TPN for you, and you get to know the staff down there as well. So it's great. Cruising's always been the best one for me because once the kind of PN is on board, there's nothing to worry about. Ancillaries, there's so much there. I normally leave it in the case and it's up in the bedroom under the bed, and we just take it down each day with us. But they have my PN down in their fridge. So cruising's brilliant. But no, I think as long as you plan ahead and think about what you need to take, have you got your letters, things like that, it is possible, and it becomes second nature. It really does.
There's always things that, even though the best planning, you can never foresee every problem that might arise. We went away recently, and we were in Gran Canaria, and the hotel we booked, we made sure that they had a minibar fridge. So we empty the minibar, not as in using it, we put it all to one side, and often use the minibar to store a couple of days the nutrition. This particular one, we put the thermometer in, it wasn't getting cold enough. So I went down, I spoke to the manager, and the receptionist said, look, this is the situation, is there anything you can do? And occasionally it has benefits. We ended up in a suite. So yeah, they moved us from one room to another one, which happened to be a suite. They were half empty at the time, the hotel, and they gave us an amazing room, and they helped us with what we needed. So don't be afraid to ask is the other advice I would give. If you get to someone it's not right, ask. Don't shout about it, just ask nicely, and generally people will help you.
There's a lot of, quite rightly, nervous people out there about it. But I've always said, once you've done it once, you then know what to do, what to expect. It's even down to the airports, what to expect when you get there, because you've got two big trolleys full. Just navigating the airport with that is a challenge itself. But no, it is possible, and it is easy.